Just 8 years ago, the subject of our first story was listed as one of the most endangered historic properties in Nashville. Thankfully, it was purchased just in time to save it from being turned into rubble, then restored to its former glory. As Cindy Carter discovered, now it's just the way it was 200 years ago.
Every morning is a busy morning at Nashville's Belle Mansion and Inn. The kitchen is bright and bustling as the breakfast portion of this historic bed and breakfast is served up and sent out to the mansion's guests, who are greeted and treated like family. As these travelers from all over sit down for the mansion's main meal, they're probably a bit surprised to find out they're not the only ones who spent the night here.
Although it's a big house, the rooms are spread out a lot and there's a lot of privacy, and people like that.
Louis James and his wife Connie are the owners of this Greek Revival mansion. The couple bought Belle in 2016, one of the precious few historic homes Nashville has left of this style and beauty.
We've seen a lot of historic properties just get demolished and torn down. And you just wonder, why couldn't they have been restored? You know, I mean, any historical property that can be saved should be saved.
And saving Belle was one lengthy, laborious, but rewarding process. The mansion was in shambles when the couple purchased it, but Louis says they started renovations literally with a firm foundation.
The framework of this house is magnificent. I mean, it's very solid. The floors, being 200 years old, are in remarkable condition.
The original four-room handmade brick home was built in 1790 and is still standing. It was a stand-in until the mansion was finished in 1832 by the Harding family, whose patriarch John Harding owned Nashville's Belle Meade plantation. A few years later, the property was sold to former Nashville Mayor William Nickel, who made a few additions of his own. So tell me a little bit about this room.
This is what we call the Magnolia Dining Room. Back in 1838, when this room was built, added on by the Nickel family, it was the library. And you'll notice in this room, like, first of all, the fireplace. This fireplace was hand-carved in 1840.
Yeah. The hand-carved fireplace, the chandelier, the original front door to the 1790 home that hangs on the dining room wall, all authentic pieces from the mansion's past that appeal to present-day history buffs. And speaking of history, this former library also once doubled as a courtroom where local attorney Andrew Jackson practiced law. Now, this mansion was once referred to as the house in the country because it's a 6-mile carriage ride from Nashville, meaning when circuit court was held here in the 1840s, they needed a temporary place to put the prisoners. The solution? This dungeon right underneath the parlor.
Bars on the windows and all that. It's got some writing where I guess some of the criminals,
Get me out.
Yeah, get me out of here.
The dungeon is strictly off limits to modern day guests. Don't even ask. Seriously. Besides, there are far more pleasant areas to explore and take in, like the grounds, which is picturesque no matter where you stand.
Just the beautiful original doors, all the windows are original, a lot of original shutters on the windows. All of the outside porch is original with the columns. This house, when you walk in, it's got 13-foot ceilings. It's got the original fresco ceilings.
27 chandeliers, 11 fireplaces, and one gorgeous cantilever staircase that leads to the guest rooms.
Strickland was the consulting architect on this property, and he was also the consulting architect on the Hermitage, and he was the primary architect on Belmont Mansion. And so if you look at our staircase, that's the same staircase that you'll find in other properties in Nashville.
All total, there are 15 bedrooms and suites, 10 in the main house and 5 in the nearby retreat house. And all of the rooms have their own style and private baths, like the Gold Suite or Turquoise Room. There's the rustic yet modernized 1790 hideaway, part of the original four-room house. And of course, the luxurious Sapphire Room, which also holds a secret, a hidden space once used to hide the Nickel family's jewelry, valuables, and perhaps a Confederate soldier or two.
Now the secret room is about 4.5 feet tall, and it's about 400 square feet. It's behind this wall here.
With so much mystery and elegance, it's hard to believe Bel Air Mansion was considered an endangered property until Lewis and Connie James snapped it up.
I mean, we were the backup offer. The primary offer was going to put in townhouses and just really destroy this place.
Today, the Bel Air Mansion and Inn is a charming and popular bed and breakfast. No longer forgotten, it is a graceful reminder of a different era, a place where hospitality meets history.